Hello and welcome back to my channel and Happy New Year! Before I get into today's video, I want to thank everyone who subscribed after I put out my last video. I am absolutely floored with the reception and that there are now more than 200 of you who have subscribed. Thanks to the majority of you for your really amazing comments and interaction on that video and on my channel in general. I'm happy that for the most part, the debates were civil and respectful. Those of you who respectfully disagreed proved that it can be done. I want to thank people who kindly corrected me and gave me valid and constructive criticism. It motivates me to do better with my content, so truly thank you from the bottom of my heart. I have honestly thought about making a video like this, but debated on it until recently. So I felt like this is the time to make this video since my channel is starting to reach more of the Final Fantasy VII fan base. That being said, this video is going to be different from the other videos I've put out. Instead of this being a very heavily researched video, I'm going to go into my personal experiences with this game and the love triangle to really clarify my stance on this issue and what I expect from my community, at least, going forward. I understand that the internet is a very toxic place and the toxic fans are very loud. I'm not putting this out with the expectation that I'm going to change that. That would be absolutely naive. I'm putting this video out because myself and many others have expressed how exhausted we are that the shipping wars have taken over most of the discourse about this wonderful compilation. It's very difficult to express our opinions without being viciously attacked. And it's not just one ship that is guilty of this. It makes it really hard to enjoy this game at times. I believe that we all came into the fandom because we love the game, characters, and themes. For each and every one of us, there's something that drew us to this game and keeps us coming back for more for almost 28 years. It is my goal that we focus on what unites us and why we're here. Because we love the story, we love the game. It has deeply resonated with us and made an impact on our lives. It's art, and it's beautiful. Let's not lose ourselves in the sauce of wanting to be right that we lose sight of that. The truth is that real people are more important than who a fictional character loves. It's absolutely exhausting to go on any video, social media platform, or something to do with the game and see an absolute battlefield of force and opinions, arguments with logical fallacies, personal attacks, and even slurs. It's baffling that some people are so up in arms and defensive all the time over something that shouldn't affect their life that much. And it's easy to be sucked into that black hole. I have. It gets so bad that characters get assassinated and so twisted that they are unrecognizable. Many of you have posted comments of your experiences with the shipping community on my channel. Some have been about how they saw the discourse surrounding Tifa and Aerith prior to playing any of the games, and finding out that none of what was said is true. And that they came into the game with really terrible first impressions of these characters. Some come into the games hating one of them or coming to hate them because of getting exposed to these overblown and almost Frankenstein monster levels of twistedness. That's absolutely heartbreaking. Some go after the devs and even the VAs, and now they are telling us to be kind and to stop telling those who disagree that they are wrong. They're telling us to calm down. The love triangle in Final Fantasy VII is just a part of the story, and it's not even close to the most important part. I would love to have more conversations about mental health, the environment, identity, friendship, etc., instead of talking about who Cloud really loves, which, let's face it, there is no official canon, at least not yet, but also we need to accept that there might never be. I want this game and the community to be fun, and fighting over the love triangle just isn't fun. Now, to really contextualize how this is for me, I want to talk about my personal experience with this game and the love triangle to bring up a lot of points that I believe are super important. Keep in mind that this is my experience, and I cannot speak on the experiences of other people. I will be expressing my opinions and biases, but I will still try my best to do so in the most kind and empathetic way that I can. I don't expect people to agree with my views, and I am absolutely okay with that as long as you're respectful about it. So let's get started. I have early memories of seeing my oldest brother playing the game. However, I didn't grow up on the PlayStation and instead grew up on the Nintendo 64 and GameCube. It wasn't until college that a different brother decided to get a PS1 and bought the game that I was really exposed to it. During that time, I was learning more about global climate change, so the game spoke to me in that way. I didn't consistently watch my brother play, so I wasn't aware of the love triangle. I knew who the characters were and some basic things about the story, and that was it. Eventually, I got my own PS4 and started playing games myself instead of watching my brothers. Remake was still a couple years away by then, and I started getting excited about it. Not long before the game was out, I decided to watch a Let's Play of the OG. It was then that I started to, plot twist, ship Cloud and Aerith. I watched a lot of rom-coms growing up and really loved a good meet cute. I connected with her spunkiness, open personality, and her feminine energy. I actually saw a lot of myself in her, and I thought her and Cloud had some great chemistry. The idea of them developing a love story made sense to me at the time, especially since I was unaware of all the details of the story at that point. I didn't even think to question it. When I got to her death in the LP, I was stunned. I couldn't believe that she was really killed off and was in denial about it for a while. Then the LP got to the livestream sequence, and under the high wind, I witnessed the parts where Tifa really got to shine in the story, and I became confused. I saw that the story wasn't at all what the narrative was telling me. Cloud wasn't a soldier first class, but he left to try in the first place in order for Tifa to notice him. The soldier that was at Nibelheim was a different person, and Cloud was actually the Shinra grunt who covered his face with his helmet. And when he took off his helmet and revealed the truth, it really stuck to my memory. All I thought and figured out about this game wasn't what it seemed. I started to see the cracks in my perception, and that included the love triangle. So then I went on to Reddit to see what people were saying. I was shocked to see that so many people were shipping Cloud with Tifa, and I became upset. Looking back, I understand that I was upset because I didn't want to admit to myself that maybe I was wrong about what the love story was. I'm a very stubborn person, so I was really stubborn about holding on to my first impression. Over time, I absorbed more of what the story was really about, as well as the characters, especially Cloud, and kept uncovering layers that I couldn't notice at the beginning. It was then that I started to see the history and depth of the relationship between Tifa and Cloud, and how central it is to the whole story. I wouldn't say it was like a light bulb going off, it was more like how a sunset slowly and steadily brings light to the new day. I began to understand that the love story itself is a subversion. At the beginning of the game, it felt to me like the love story was meant to be about Aerith, but the plot twists after the Northern Crater and the livestream sequence revealed to me that the love story was actually meant to be about Tifa. When that clicked, I was excited about how clever it was presented, and it really made the game so much deeper and richer to me. Once Remake came out and I finally played and beat it, and side note, that was the first game I ever beat, I became solidly Chloe. Since then, I have absorbed more and more of the story. I read Traces of Two Paths and resonated with her even more. Playing Rebirth made it all the more clear to me how important Tifa and Cloud are to each other, and I just love their story so much. Now, my point in telling my story is to show how hard it was for me to change my mind. But I decided to be open-minded. I decided to see the perspective of the ship I wasn't originally a part of. I decided to learn more about the story and the structure of how it's presented with the subversions. In the beginning, I believed that Cloud is an ex-soldier, but eventually I learned that he never made it in. In the beginning, I believed that Shinra was the main antagonist, but then I learned that the main antagonist was actually Sephiroth and Jenova. In the beginning, I believed that Cloud was falling for Aerith, but then I learned that he loved Tifa since they were kids. I decided that I needed to let go of what I perceived as right or wrong, and instead allow myself to look deep at the story and the characters for the answers. Now, I don't want people to take this to mean that I think it's okay to go into these debates with the goal to change people's minds. Just because mine did doesn't give you that green light. As people, we need to learn to be open to other people's perspectives and learn to see through their eyes. We need to learn to be open-minded and open-hearted, but also accept people's opinions and that it's not our job to change them. We need to learn to meet each other halfway. We need to learn to focus on what unites us instead of what divides us. We need to learn when to say agree to disagree, when to walk away, when to back off, and when to set boundaries, especially when people are being assholes, have insane takes, are being hateful, or are acting absolutely delulu. We need to learn to keep ourselves in check and be self-aware about when we are being too heated, are acting like assholes, or are being delulu ourselves. We need to learn to acknowledge when we are wrong. And when I say we, I absolutely include myself in this, as I am sometimes guilty too. And at times when it becomes too much, we need to learn to know when it is time to take a break. Staying in these toxic spaces for extended periods of time takes a serious toll on mental health. The other reason why I decided to share my story is because I wanted to emphasize that I get where the level-headed Clarice are coming from. I used to feel and see things the way that they do. Her story is impactful and powerful because she is impactful and powerful. She is so easy to fall in love with when we are not clouded by mischaracterizations of her or traumatized by toxic shippers. I got my degree in art education, and during college I learned the saying, don't get too close to the painting. When you get too close to the painting, you don't see what's wrong with it. You don't see what you need to fix or improve. When you step away from the painting, you see the whole picture. You see the whole story. You see what's wrong. We need to step away from the painting and see the whole picture of the game and see that it's not about who ends up with who, but about the characters, themes, how it comes together, and what we can learn from all of this. We need to get over our own biases and perceptions of what we think is right or wrong and allow those who are also stepping away from the painting to point out something that's wrong that we may be missing. We need to be more willing and humble to hear other perspectives, especially if we disagree. That's how we become better, kinder, and wiser people. Now, I want to be clear here that even though I am a Clody shipper, that doesn't mean that I don't respect people who see the story, characters, and relationships differently, or that I think that they are inherently wrong. Final Fantasy VII is art, and as an artist myself, I understand that the beauty of art is that everyone interprets it differently, and that is such a beautiful and cool phenomenon. I want to learn to better see the beauty in other people's interpretation of this wonderful game, especially when I disagree. It is my hope that you can all do the same. It is especially my hope that we can all connect in this community and feel it is a safe space to share these diverse opinions, experiences, and interpretations with each other. I hope we can learn to not see people from other ships as enemies, but learn to set aside our differences and come together in our mutual love for this amazing compilation and its characters, stories, and themes. I will continue to monitor and intervene when there are people who cannot do this, even if that means I lose subscribers, in order to better ensure that you are all being respected. Again, I want to thank all of you who are already doing this so well. I am learning so much from you and your amazing perspectives already, and it makes me excited to connect and share more with you all. I love reading your comments and seeing your mutual love for this game and the characters. It really warms my heart. Thanks so much to all your kind words and support. It all means so much more to me than I can express. If you like this video, please like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't yet. Before I go, I want to announce that for a bit, I will focus on other topics, characters, and themes with this game. At this point, I'm burnt out from the love triangle debate, and I feel like I want to focus on deeper themes that I personally love more, like mental health and identity. Please let me know in the comments if there are any characters, scenes, or topics you want me to cover. I already have an idea of what I want to cover next, but I really want to pass this off to you and see what you're all interested in getting my perspective on. With that, I'll be ending this video here. Again, thank you all so much for listening and understanding, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!